Today, we're going to talk about how to survey your clients so that you get the key insights needed to refine your message and your content. This question came in from Kira, who is a marketing director, who asks, do you have a suggested survey of sorts that you recommend sending to your top 10% clients to help guide your messaging, content, etc.? The short answer is yes. We do have a way of approaching this. I'm going to share with you the kind of concept behind how we approach this with our clients right now. And it is absolutely based on what we've seen drive the most insightful responses. So this question is rooted in Kira's understanding that focusing on kind of those top 10% of your clients, the people who value what you do, who you find fulfilling to work with, and if you replicated them again and again, you'd have a profitable, viable business. Those folks, we want to understand them, almost like get to know them better than anyone else, because the more you're able to speak and serve and delight clients of that type, the more your organic growth is going to drive best fit prospects. So, Kira, this is a great question. I'm glad you're thinking about your top 10% of clients and how to survey them. There's a couple things in your question that I want to touch on, though, before I get into some insights on how we do it. And one is that you said that we recommend sending to your clients. So actually, when we survey clients of our clients at Ficomm, so when we look at a firm and we say, okay, survey your top 10 clients, it's actually not a survey that you send. It is a phone call you make. So you'll have your list of those top 10%. This is a rough number, right? You don't have to exactly calculate 10%, but a short list of clients that you would want to replicate again and again. You write their names down and you actually call each of them. The call for this purpose will just be about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So you set aside a week, and it's your priority for the week to reach out to these folks and ask them key questions. So that is one important distinction I want to make right off the bat, is that when we survey clients, you're making a phone call. Now, within this phone call, there are important questions to be making. Kira, for you, I would invite you to sit down and ask, okay, what kind of insights am I wanting? If you imagine an ideal set of information, so imagine you have all of their responses and you can almost like picture what their responses are, we can then say, what questions do we need to ask to get this level of insight? So if you're talking about content and messaging, you might say, okay, I'm going to want to know what has resonated with them, what they love to see from us. Their favorite topics or the ones that feel most important to them. Okay, so you can, if you imagine the insight, you can become more specific in your questions. At Ficomm, we do have a set of questions that we walk our clients through as they are developing their strategy. We tailor strategy to the ideal client, and we want all of the marketing that follows strategy to be focused on these people. So we want to get to know them. That's really the heart of these phone calls. The heart of the survey is understanding. So in your questions, you don't want to have a leading questions like, hey, do you like podcasts? Or you don't want to say, hey, if we started a podcast, would you listen? Because these are leading questions that are too directed and kind of create an environment where a client might try to give you the answer they think you want to hear. Instead, I say, write your questions and say them in a way that's very open, exploratory, almost like a seat of curiosity. So here's how that might look. You call up your client, you say, hey, Victoria, we are working to get even better with our content as a firm and how we inform and create for top clients like yourself. So I actually would love to get a little bit of insight into what you would find most valuable. What you do there is you say, hey, we're going to make some changes and I value your opinion. Okay, so that's a good tee up. And then it might be, how do you consume content? And then you just wait for their response. You might then guide them. You might say, okay, are you reading a lot? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you watching YouTube? Are you going to events? Are you reading physical newspaper? You get a list of what they're doing and then ask for specific pieces they follow. So if they say, yeah, I watch some YouTube and I read some articles. We want even more insight. Okay, what articles do you love? What YouTube channels are you enjoying? Okay, so you're just understanding their interaction with content. You're getting curious. And then you might move into, what would you like to hear from us? In particular, how can we step in and be a support here? Let them list out some ideas, let them react. You might have a couple follow-up questions, okay? But you want to make sure that all of your questions are broad and not super leading. The magic comes in after having multiple phone calls. So maybe you have 10 to 20 phone calls and 3 different advisors share making those phone calls, and you sit down and you look at everyone's detailed responses. Through that can come the insights. You start to notice trends, you start to notice patterns, or they're all leaning in this direction, or they say they don't read, but then when I asked about how they use their phone, they say they are checking email 10 times a day and they always look at certain articles that come up on their LinkedIn feed, okay? So sometimes you'll notice that their initial answer isn't matching the exact detail of their reality. You're gonna look at the mix of how they answered the questions and then pull out some insights that are actionable. So in those insights, it might be, oh, they sit down at their desk every morning when they start their workday and they look at whatever's in their email, or they compulsively scroll this social media platform. Whatever it ends up being for your set of clients, you now are equipped with the information that is rooted in your top client's reality. So now in your marketing, you don't have a theoretical idea or something you think might be true. You know what your top clients are doing and therefore how you can fit their reality, but bring the topics that they want to hear from you about. Kira, I hope this was helpful. I hope it guided some of your thinking around how you might have these phone calls with clients and invite the advisors of the firm to make those calls. I do recommend listing out maybe 5 or 6 specific questions that everyone asks verbatim and documents together so that you can look at the set and pull the insights. I look forward to hearing how it goes for you, Kira. And if anyone else is watching this video and has their own question, this is our open advice column that we host here at Ficomm, and I would love to hear from you. So send me a DM on LinkedIn or use the link below this video's description to send in your question. All right, I will see you in the next one.